children. Good afternoon. Before everything else, I'd like to thank the BCLP team led by Pepe for giving us this opportunity to serve and to again give this talk on the Christian family. Let me first start by introducing my family. So, of course, this is my lovely wife, Bongay. Gorgeous. We actually celebrated our 30th anniversary last year, October 11, 2016. And these are our children. So, born 2 years after, so wala nyo na lang yung edad. In 1986 is Pamela, the eldest. 88. Okay, sorry. 1988. Then afterwards, after Patricia, then medyo merong gap ng 6 years, si Paolo, ang aking youngest. Yung youngest ko is 22 na. 22 na. We joined the BCBP in 1992, kaya sinasabi ni Pepe for permanent fixture, so we've been in the BCBP for 25 years. Okay, when we started, si Paolo wala pa. So, wala pa siya. So, Paolo is actually a BCBP baby. Ang meron pa lang kami, yung dalawa pa lang. Yung dalawang yun, parang yung mga batang yun. When we started. Okay? We joined in 1992, and actually our family started serving together when we first joined the BCFR, which is the family retreat in 2003. And later in 2006, we were actually the speakers for the family retreat. During the family retreat, there are actually 2 families that do the speaking. Yung papalit-palit. So we were one of the families. Now, despite the many years of service, just now na-clarify, hindi pa ho kami sana to. We're still struggling to be a Christian family. We're not yet ideal, but we're striving to be one. Now, let me just give you the objectives of the talk. First, this talk is meant to stress the importance of marriage as the foundation of the family. Because kung wala pong marriage, wala pong family. Second, it will also show the need to build very strong Christian families, especially now when everything around us is attacking the Christian family. And of course, there's also the need to strengthen the relationship between spouses. And lastly, how we need to assume responsibilities for our children so that they too may raise their own Christian families. Okay. Marriage in the family. Marriage and the family are counted as one of the most precious of all human possessions. In fact, the family is the basic unit of the human society. Sabi nga nila, if you have a very good family, if actually all families were good, then this would be a very peaceful place to live in. Kaso nga lang po, yun nga, maraming dysfunctional families. In fact, sabi nga, kung kayo ay matino sa inyong pamilya, matino rin kayo sa labas. And vice versa. Kung loko-loko kayo sa inyong pamilya, definitely, mas magulo kayo sa labas. Let me quote from the Pastoral Constitution of the Church in the Modern Times. Ito po yung sabi nila. The well-being of the individual person and of both human and Christian society is closely bound up with the healthy state of conjugal and family life. This is very true. Pomi and I came from very different family backgrounds. Siguro kung naging yung sharing namin, malalaman nyo. Their family led a very simple but secure, loving family life. And I came from a very different one, far from perfect. When we got together, I started to see the differences between our family upbringing. I realized soon that I had to make a choice. Sundin ko yung dati kong magulong pamilya or baguhin ko. And I actually modeled our family on Pongay's family. They were very demonstrative, appreciative, and caring. Actually, na-shock nga ako yung una ko sila nakita eh. Kasi si Pongay, bibili lang ng I think sukaya tayo sa tindahan. Nagkikiss pa. Ma, bili lang kami ng kikiss pa. Pagbalik, magkikiss pa. Sabi, sobra naman kayo. While in our family, ito, true story ito, up to today, Ito si Paolo, ang favorite joke nito ang nanay ko. Pag ang nanay ko medyo nagnanag na, gagawin lang niya, aakapin niya. Nanay ko naniligas. Talagang hindi niya alam how it is to touch. So that was how we were brought up. We were not very demonstrative. So sabi nga namin, although my own family were very well off in the material things, we were not that happier. We were not even that close as compared to Pongay's family. In fact, I became so much closer to Pongay's parents than to my own. Kasi nga, pag sinishare ko yung grades ko sa college, yung nanay niya nagpapapansin. Papapansin, nagsiselebrate. Kaya nagpapa-ice cream pa. Kaya sabi nga, pwede ba huwag mo na pakita yung grades mo kasi nahalata daw na hindi ganun kataas yung grades niya. Sa amin, wala. Dead malang. Kumbaga, dean's list ka, 4 ka, perfect ka. Wala sa pamilya ko. Sa kanila, 3 lang, nagpapapansin na yung nanay niya. So, ganun. Kaya mas gusto ko pang ibigay yung card ko sa nanay niya kaysa sa nanay ko. So when we got married, Pongay, I decided to create a family that is Christ-centered and filled with love. Okay? In order that we have a strong Christian family, we must first have a good Christian marriage. Diba? Yun yung logic nun eh. You have to build up your relationship as spouses, as husband and wife, to be a good family. Kasi kayo rin po yung example ng mga children yun, how it is to be a good parent, a good father, a good mother. Okay? This is just a short talk on God's plan for your marriages or for your family. But don't worry, when you finally join the BCBP officially, meron po kaming retreat, marriage retreat for spouses, and afterwards, a family retreat for the whole family. So ano lang po ito? Teaser lang. Okay, teaser lang. Now let us just go through the importance of marriage. Marriage kasi is an institution created by God. Sabi nga po sa Genesis, it is not good for man to be alone. I will make a suitable partner for him. God saw the need for man to be with a woman. Kaya niya inimbento yung misis nyo. Hindi lang para magastos, pero para makompleto po eh. Bago nga pala yung blouse ng misis ko. Kababayad ko lang hapon. Baka gusto ko yun. Dapat daw kikisoy. In Matthew 19, verse 6, it says, "Thus they are no longer two but one flesh. Therefore, no man must separate what God has joined." This shows the sanctity of marriage. It is divinely instituted by God and sanctified by Jesus. In the marriage rites, one man and one woman publicly and before God make their vows to live together until death. Di ba po? In fact, yung buong marriage vow, yung mga pare, wala namang sila talagang ginagawa eh. Nagpa-facilitate lang siya. It is only when you say, yung nga, I do promise together. That's actually the marriage. So, in our religion, wala po talagang divorce, walang separation until death. Yun yung po yung sanctity ng marriage. Third, in Matthew 19, verse 5 naman po, sabi, "Man shall leave his father and mother and cling to his wife, and the two shall become one." Man and woman should leave their own families and make their own families together. So sabi nga doon, I actually attended a very good marriage. Sinabi nga, Gia, magbabay ka na sa daddy, mami, mga kapatid mo kasi hindi mo na pamilya yan. Ang kapamilya mo na yung asawa mo. And that's very true. And same with the husband. Ikaw, hindi mo na pamilya yung tatay at nanay mo. Because this marriage life is also your goodbye party to your family. Because you now have a welcome party for your own family. So this is actually also how God has designed the community to grow. Nanganganak yung mga pamilya ng ibang pamilya ng marriage. So that is why the marriage relationship is very, very important. Yun nga eh. In marriage kasi, wala naman po tayong manual how it is to be a father, a mother, a husband, a wife. Nakutuwa lang natin yan sa example ng ating sariling family. Okay? That is why it is also big on us, on our shoulders, to become good parents. Diba? Sabi nga, gusto niyo turuan kung paano maging magaling na ama, ina, asawa, ang iyong mga anak, love your wife, love your husband. If that's the only thing that you do in marriage, you practically solve the lesson of how it is to raise good Christian family. And lastly, in Genesis, sabi rin, be fertile and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Through marriage, God makes the family the primary contributor to God's creation for the purpose of procreation and evangelization. Kailangan talaga natin magpadami talaga ng good Christian families para malabanan, maayos naman natin yung balance. Kumbaga, masyado marami na magulong pamilya sa mundo ito. So we have to do that. Okay? Now I'll pass it on to Paul.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters.
Good afternoon.
Okay, let's now talk about the relationship between husbands and wives. Let me read Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22 to 28. And I quote, "Wives should be submissive to their husbands as if to the Lord." May emphasis, ano? Because the husband is the head of his wife, just as Christ is head of his body, the church. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loves the church. He gave himself up for her. Husbands should love their wives as they do their own bodies. According to this biblical verse, the relationship of husband and wife is the same as the relationship of Jesus Christ and His church. He is head of the body as husbands are the head of the wife. But just like Christ, the husband must be willing to give up his life for his wife. In the brotherhood, we have this clear understanding. We understand that as the husband is the head, he is accountable to God. When you die, husbands, listen to this. God will ask you, what have you done to bring your wife and your children closer to heaven? Or worse, what have you not done to keep them away from God? Therefore, in summary, it is not the wife who will answer this question or who will be accountable to God. It is the husbands. So, kaninong kaluluwa ang masusunog kung hindi mapupunta sa heaven ang buong pamilya? Simple. These verses touch on the following tenets of the relationship. Actually, 3 were discussed. Mutual subordination, and it says that the wives should be submissive to their husbands, but at the same time, it says that the husband should give himself up for his wife. This is clearly an order for mutual subordination in love, which means simply walang boss-boss dyan. Equality of partners. Because of the mutual subordination to each other out of love, it is also understood that both husband and wife are equal partners in the relationship. It takes two to tango. They are mutually responsible for the success or failure of their marriage. They are accountable to God to make it work. Once married, they are not of themselves, but are of each other. As in St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians, and I quote, "For the wife does not rule over her body, but the husband does. Likewise, the husband does not rule over his own body, but the wife does." And then third, there should be order and peace in the family. If there is order, then there is peace. God has clearly instructed this in His letter to the Ephesians. Husbands are the head of the family, with the wife as co-head. Next comes the children. eldest to youngest, each one responsible for one another. If this is taught to families and implemented, then this would be a more peaceful world. We try very hard to implement this. Our eldest daughter lives her life as the eldest child and is responsible for her siblings. She is first, but at the same time, last. In our family, to have order as husband and wife, we've agreed that anything that touches or decisions for the kids, I will handle. So, yung mga I will allow them to go out, ako yon. Sagot ko yung lahat. Or activities, their schedules, o yung basta anything pertaining to them. Ako in charge. But of course, I tell Bopet whatever is the activities that had been planned and agreed upon. And then any other decisions, especially the big ones where we will all be affected, is handled by Bobet. However, he presents it to us before making decisions. Actually, hindi consulted. Kasi minsan, made up na yung mind niya. So, tinatanong niya lang kami for affirmation. In our absence, Pam assumes the responsibility of looking after her siblings.
Actually, mas magaling pa si Pam mag-budget. Nagugutom yung mga kapatid niya pagka naiiwan. As we have showed you, how important it is for marriage talaga yung family. The family is the foundation of the human society. If the family deteriorates as nakikita natin ngayon, no, then it would definitely affect society, our world. If family members fight, then would there ever be peace on earth, di ba? That is why it's very important for us to take responsibility for our families. Make it a strong Christian family because the whole world depends on it. As parents, we are admonished by St. John Chrysostom when he said, "Make your home a church." As parents, we must witness our faith to our children. How can we teach the concept of God the Father if you are absent as a father in your family? I remember when I was sitting just like you, when I started my CLP 30 years ago, hindi ko po maintindihan yung concept ng Father, God the Father. Only to realize after several retreats, kaya pala, kasi ang tatay ko laging absent. My dad has been an absentee father for a very, very long time because of golf. Mas inuuna pa niya yung golf kesa sa pamilya niya. Mas inuuna niya yung golf kesa sa simbahan. Okay? And he was the traditional Filipino father also when yung provider lang. Even in church, ang nanay ko ang nagbibitbit sa amin sa simbahan. He would only drive us to church and stay outside and smoke. Yun yung concept ko. And yun nga, I also, because of him being my model, ganun din yung aking Catholic upbringing. I distinctly remember, before we got married, sabi nung pare, kailangan ko nung magkumpisal. Do you know the last confession I made before my marriage was during my first communion? Grabe. Oo. So, napilitan akong magkumpisal to get married. After that, my third confession was before I took the baptism of the Holy Spirit. Grabe. Ngayon ko lang na-realize na kailangan pala ako yung maging priest of the family. So, after the BCLP, ako na yung naging priest of the family and make sure I bring my kids to Mass every Sunday, and we don't just stay there. We actually go stay in front to listen to the Mass itself, to the sermon, to be participative, no? I also bring all my kids to their required annual confessions in Holy Week. Kinakaladkad ko yan. Naghahanap kami ng, may pare kami. Sabi nga, Dad, huwag na kay Father Orly. Yung aming pare sa BCFR. Bakit naman? Memorize na niya yung sins namin. Kaya kung minsan lumilipat kami. Pero sabi ko, yeah, but again, it's good to have a friend priest para at least to remind you na huwag mo na ulitin yung mga kinukumpisal mo, di ba? So I bring them there. Kaya ngayon, one of the manifestations very visible is the way we go together in Mass and we pray together. And the things that we do, especially during the occasions in our faith, yung Holy Week, hindi lang kami nagbi-beach. No? We make it sure that we do everything required. No? So, ganun yun. Okay. The Christian family has God in the center. Kami nga, we pray with each other. We live in an atmosphere that is persevering and forgiving, just like the love of Jesus Christ. So, ito nga, we inculcate the values that are in the family. So, the values that we inculcate is praise instead of criticism, acceptance and understanding instead of control, forgiveness instead of hostility, joy, not fighting, listening instead of indifference, trust and not suspicion, respect and not disrespect, giving and not selfishness. Don't worry, itong mga values na ito, makukuha nyo when you attend your BCFR. We all need these values. Why? Because the family is under attack. In the world today, the family is being attacked by one, worldliness, secular humanism. Our family is being brainwashed by materialism. Sabi, the good life, the fast lane. So, ganyan na nangyayari. Laging maraming sale sa mall. So, everybody's brainwashing us in commercialism into our family. Instead of walking in the park, under the trees, saan nagwo-walking? Sa mall. Para mag-shopping. Parang, hindi, I even see some families na nagladabog yung kid. Kasi when they went to the mall, hindi siya naibili ng gift. Bakit? Kailangan laging may gift. So what are you teaching your children there? That's materialism, secularism, worldliness. Worse pa, misconception of sexuality. There are so many broken families today because of the improper way children are taught about sexuality. They actually, yan, nakikita yan sa internet, no? They think of sexuality as sex, when sexuality is more about intimacy, more about loving. Diba? So, being good and loving father and mother, show them what true sexuality is all about. It's all about caring, loving, and commitment. It's all about hugging each other. It's not just sex. Diba? And sex is not dirty. In fact, sex is one of the most wonderful gifts of God. Pero in marriage. More on that pag nag-BCMR kayo. Pornography and violence in mass media, especially in the internet, is very prevalent. Mag-Google lang kayo. Lalabas lahat. Diba? Kung kayo nahahanap nyo, isipin nyo yung mga kids nyo, they find it. They even find it in games. Diba? You know that slide there? That's a game. Napapasok ka sa prison, mag-rape ka and ganon. Weird, no? But that's a game. Parang Grand Theft Auto. Di ba yung mga games ng mga bata? What does it teach? Patayin mo yung driver para kunin mo yung kotse niya, sirain mo yung mga ganon. So, those are the wrong values. In fact, our government is not even helping much. The government policies sometimes are against families, di ba? Merong, di ba, yung RSP, merong, marami, sex education when they're focusing more again on sex rather than sexuality. Diba parang the drawing, this is the penis, the vagina, when in fact, you should be teaching more of the sexual maturity and sensuality to children. Diba? And worse, economic pressures are forcing families to go apart. Why? Buong Pilipinas. Ang dami na ilang milyon na. Pinagmamalaki pa ng gobyerno natin. Why? It separates the parents. Worse pa nga dalawa di ba? Yung nanay nurse, yung tatay engineer, both in Saudi Arabia. The kids are left with the lola or worse, the yaya. Ang concept ng love ng kids, ano? Padala, yung mga kahon, yung mga boxes ng mga cellphones. So, Back to number 1, worldliness. Instead of having closeness and bonding, napapalitan ng ganon. In fact, we are also guilty of that, di ba? When we are so busy at work, di ba? Parang pag weekend, gusto mong ilabas naman para mag-shopping. Pinupunuan natin yung pagkukulang natin with worldly things. When in fact, if you ask your kids, all they want is your time. Your time to listen to them, your time to talk to them. So again, ang dami pong pressure on the Christian family. That is why you have to be aware that the family is under attack, and it is your responsibility to keep it together, to protect your children against the attack, to be a good example of how it is to be good Christian husband and wife and be a good Christian family.
So now, what can we do? As members of the Church of Jesus Christ, we have to do something. Number 1, we have to build strong families with Christian values. We have to actively take part in the education of our children to assure that they are properly learning Christian values. This must be supported within the family by example. Teach them to worship God by bringing them to Mass and praying. Show them fidelity in marriage by being loving and committed husband and wife. Be forgiving to teach them forgiveness. Like for Bobet and I, we learned in parenting that the number 1 rule in parenting is to love your spouse. And the number 2 is to love your spouse. And the number 3 is still to love your spouse. Because when they see that the two of you are bonded together, they feel so secured. Number 2, make time for your family. Despite of all the pressures of the world, always make time for your family. In the BCBP, we are taught that we should have the proper priorities in life, in which we really follow God, family, livelihood, and community. We should put our family ahead of our jobs and our friends. Only God supersedes our family. Parents have a listening ear to our children. Number 3, bond together. Know your family by creating opportunities to interact and bond together. Our family loves to travel together. These travels have made us so much closer to each other and to God. We allow God to plan our trips by not being too OC about it. Wonderful things happen when you let God travel with you. Doesn't have to be in a far away or expensive places, anywhere, so long as you are all together. And it says the family that travels together experiences God together. Pray and serve together. Because of our early exposure to the BCBP, our children have grown in a Christian culture with a lot of opportunities to pray and serve the Lord. We serve in the BCFR in whatever capacity the Lord sees fit for our family. We've even done our tour of duty, as Bobet mentioned, presenting family. And my children have also found their own service to others. Teach them the value of sacrificing for others through service. And they will realize how lucky they are to have been part of your family. In the BCBP, we do the annual medical and dental mission, and we bring the children and give them simple roles. Like the last time, I think si Tricia was in charge of the little kids, so they will follow her in coloring some books, and then mga singing rhymes. So those simple things. Participate in church activities. We go to Mass together as a family, which is getting harder and harder these days as our children grow older. But we make it a point to be together for the Sunday Mass and other special church activities like Christmas. Sunday is the only day we are all together because of the children's work. And we made the compromise to attend the 11 o'clock in the morning because normally on a Saturday they go out. So they go home really late or early morning. So to accommodate them, instead of an earlier mass, we do it 11. And then last is teach your children the Christian faith and morals. We are the first catechists of our children. We should not allow them to just learn about the faith from their religion teachers. We should be knowledgeable about our faith to teach to our children. Now that they are all grown-ups, we let go and trust them in making decisions for themselves and pray hard that they are making the right ones. We want to believe that we've taught them everything we've learned in BCBP, and the children will emphasize more on that topic.
I don't want to talk here. Hi, good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Hello, I'm Pam. I'm the eldest. I know hindi mo ka, pero ako yung eldest. Yeah, so this is not the first time we're doing this. Tapos just to inform you, we actually mixed up our talks. Kaya this is the first time I'm gonna be talking about this. But I have so much stories, but my dad will stop me later on. He's gonna be like 5 minutes. But I can go on because in my 28 years of life, siguro 25 was spent with my parents being part of the BCBP. So like what he mentioned, I used to be one of those kids running around. My sister and I used to be one of those kids who would cry at night. Kasi action group na naman! Ano ba yan? Anong oras kayo uuwi? Ganyan. Pero since matanda na kami ngayon, pag nag-action group sila, ganun pa din. Sabihin namin, ba't di kayo nagte-text? Anong oras kayo uuwi? Labas kayo ng labas eh. Dami niyong pera. May ganun. But anyway, so I just growing up in a family where we've always been part of the BCBP. So my parents' closest friends are actually also part of the BCBP, which means that we actually grew up with kids also part of the BCBP. Until all the way, people, our family friends who we would bump into in college, all the way till now that we're already working. And just having grown up in an environment where everyone is part of everyone is part of their own individual close-knit families with all their parents still married. So, syempre, now that I'm in that age where, syempre, we're thinking about marriage. Also, masaya sila. But, pero, syempre, what I realized, having my own partner as well, is that it also makes you look for someone who also comes from a similar family background as yours. So, just to elaborate lang, like my siblings and I all have our own partners, and they go out with us as a family. So we do things out of town with our partners and our parents, ganyan. So it's really nice. We all get to bond together, and it's also a nice way for us to not only get to know our partners, but for partners to also get to know our family, and vice versa, that us too, like me, I always go out with my boyfriend's family, and I just realized na parang it really helps coming from a very close-knit family with growing up with uncles, with titos and titas who are also who have very strong marriages and very strong close family ties. So parang it makes you realize there pa lang when you're choosing a partner na you already know what you're looking for. Syempre, I could never imagine myself, not to judge, but I could syempre never imagine myself being with someone who, grew up without a father or a mother, or who didn't really understand the type of family practices that we have. Just because, if you think about it, coming from me, my age, if you tell, kunyari, your boyfriend, imagine yourself in my position, you tell your boyfriend na, we're gonna go on a 5-day family religious retreat. Parang hindi niya ata yun masyado maintindihan kasi it's very rare already for people to attend that. But for someone, kunyari, in their 20s to understand what it's like to attend family functions such as this, that, if he was here, this is something that he would also understand and be interested with. So, it's very important to me. So, Okay na? Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Let me start with this. The Christian family is being attacked. And I'm going to talk about it in the context of my professional life. So I recently moved jobs. I started in a new company about 2 months ago. And the reason why I did that was because my old company was not in the same values that was taught to me by my parents. So that's how I was able to apply some of the values that I learned from my family growing up. Because in my old company, even if the time was great, the office was good, the workload was the best, the salary was high, our main boss was actually having an affair with somebody in the office. So just being around that environment, parang I felt like this is not in line with the values that I grew up with, and I don't believe in this. And even if I really want to stay in this company, I don't think I can stay in this company any longer just because of the top management in the company don't align with my values and the values of my family. So I think that's important also for the children, because a lot of people now are just accepting jobs even if they don't align with their values, just because gusto ng pera, gusto ng trabaho, gusto ng personal freedom. But even if I had that, I still gave all of that up just because of what I learned from.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. So before I start, can you guys please check under your chairs, under your tables? Check nyo lang, may something. If ever may something, check under the chairs, under the tables, or even in the back ng mga BCBP. Check nyo lang, kasi kung may makita kayong kalat sa floor, yan, pakipulot na lang po. Kasi, syempre, Claygo tayo, want to keep this place clean. So, yeah. Okay, now that you guys medyo warmed and ready to listen, good afternoon, and I'm Pao Deloria, the bunso of my family. So yeah, studies show, yes, my opening line din ako, studies show that it takes 28 days for something to become a habit. But how long does it take for something to become a tradition? So that's what I'm going to be talking about now. Family traditions that we have in our family. So recently ko lang na-realize that we have a family tradition na hindi pala ginagawa ng not much families. Every time meron my birthday, we stay up until midnight and then greet the person. So raise of hands, does anyone do that din sa families, you know? Yan. Kasi kala namin lahat that all the families do it. So pag may birthday, you'll have to stay up until midnight and then wake the person up and then, or yan, i-greet niya lang yung person. And recently ko lang na-realize na it's actually one of our family traditions that we do. Actually, we already stopped. My mom and we already decided to stop doing it. But it became a force of habit. That every time it's someone's birthday, we just have to head home. As in, may mga times, nasa labas pa ako. Syempre, gimmick. Pero pag midnight, OMG, kailangan ko umuwi kasi kailangan namin i-greet si Ate Pam or yung dad namin. Pero, we already talked about it na di namin gagawin. Pero, yun nga, sobrang sanay na talaga na kaming lahat on doing it. That we still end up doing it. Another family tradition that we do, which is, sinabi na ata ng parents ko, is the Sunday Mass. Sunday Mass is super important to our parents, pero it became important to us na din because that's the time talaga in the entire week where we're an entire family, we're complete. We listen to each other after sa Mass kasi usually yun lunch after or lalabas kami yung nod na movie. And it's really rare nowadays, especially now that so much happening. My sister's already in their career mode life, so it's hard to gather everybody completely and then just be a family. And happily, buti na lang every Sunday we still go to Sunday Mass. Another tradition that we have as a family is during Holy Week, what my dad said, kahit sobrang chill na kami sa bahay kasi syempre Holy Week, we go to confession, we go to Mass, nagbibisita iglesia kami every year, kasi every year talaga, kahit nasa probinsya kami or kahit nandito lang kami sa Metro Manila, nagbibisita iglesia kami. And the last tradition that I want to talk about is every New Year, as in pagka-strike ng New Year, syempre, talon-talon kasi gusto ko tumangkad, shake ng piggy bank para magkapera. And then right after all that, we're gonna go into our room and then we're gonna pray as a family. Just being thankful for everything that's happened through the year, saying sorry to one another, thanking God for everything that He's provided, and you're just praising Him and being happy with one another. So there, thank you.
Ganyan ho kakapal yung mga anak ko. Anyway, meron. Now, this is a challenge for all of you. Now that we know what it takes to have a Christian family, it is not easy. It is very demanding, di ba po? Much is expected from the husband and the wife, the father and the mother, the priest or the family. The decision is yours to make. No one can make it for you. And here is Jesus asking, di ba? What have you done to bring your family closer to me? Okay? What are you going to do? And what is your decision? Remember, God is counting on you. Thank you, and God bless you.